kind of fish slower and use some and stuff like that, and I had a hard time fishing behind the pro and being able to still catch them. And so I decided on the second day to speed things up a little bit and just throw in new water that hasn't been touched. And eventually, after covering enough water, I was able to run into 5 bass, and that was what did it for me.
Really takes the pressure off you as a co-angler, though, if you get the chance to practice with these guys, and if you get as lucky to draw one, you get used to what they expect, and just usually makes for a good day in the boat.
Fish.
Over now to Steve Daniel, and there's his co-angler, Jeff Corrector, and Jeff has got one on.
And Tommy, obviously the guy in the back of the boat doesn't pay as large an entry fee as the guy in the front of the boat. That's a big difference. And
thank you, sir.
He doesn't have as much control over what's going to happen out there during the day. Now, I guess he can make suggestions from time to time, but for the most part, the guy in the front boat has got his plans made of how they're going to fish and where they're going to fish, and the guy in the back of the boat just kind of going along with the program, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Marty Stone here and Rob Carson's hooking up here. Of course, it's worth so much to these guys. Imagine, what would you pay to spend the day with Steve Daniel and pick his brain?
Absolutely. And here is a perfect example of Marty going, and Steve did the same thing, going to the back of the boat to net the fish. Actually, you can do anything. The non-boater or the boater can do just about anything they want to do in the boat, as long as they don't cast from the wrong area. In other words, the pro's got to be in the front, the non-boater's got to be in the back when they make a cast.
Got to watch the pros, though. They forget how to net their own fish after 2 days of fishing with these amateurs.
That's right.
And they don't get as good as this guy right here when they're fishing.
I opened my eyes to the facts, and now I have the power. How am I fighting breast cancer? I will get yearly mammograms when I'm over 40. I do get regular checkups with a doctor because I'm over 20, and I'm doing breast self-exams every month. I know my body. I know my breasts. Get the facts, seize the power. It's time to open your eyes. I'm joining...
When I got here, and when I got here at 11 o'clock, they commenced the biting. Come on, girls, let's get this thing started here a little bit.
Well, open water is right. Matter of fact, it looks like the ocean out there. Actually, he's not too far from the takeoff spot. He's throwing a rattle trap, covering lots of water. And when you fish open water like this, it can be a little bit tricky. You know, you can miss those fish by 5 feet, and then you swear there was no fish out there.
I've learned a little something every day about this pond. You know, I'm finding the deeper little, and it's definitely the deeper holes where they're relating to. And when I say deep, everything else is 1.2, 1.4, and you get an area like what we're just in right now. Now we got 1.9 to 2.4 of water. And it seems like they're really relating to these deep little places. Water's down a little bit right now, so that makes a lot of sense. I think it's a, well, I don't know. I think it's a little one, though. Can't never tell on these stinking plugs. I think he's better than I'm giving him credit for.
Marty Stone with possibly a good one on there. He's fishing Rita Island, which is about, what, a 15-20-minute run east from our takeoff spot down in
it's, you know, none of these guys are fishing too far away today, and Marty is fishing with a lipless crankbait. And Tommy, this bait, I don't know if it's so effective as it is the fact that you can cover so much ground with it. And look at the water these guys have got to fish, and those fish could be anywhere.
That's the way to start off the morning. Go ahead. You put net down, you fish. I'll get him. That's a good start to a morning right there, buddy.
Here we go. Here we go. Fish on. Good one. Good one. Right here. I say he's a good one. Good enough. Woo! Talk to me, Goose. I think it's there. Thought it was a big old cheeseburger.
He's been on the water a few days, Jerry.
Cheeseburger Tommy? Hey, he's doing about the same thing as Marty Stone. There's no secrets now after 4 days, and the same patterns start popping up.
What I've done, I've changed to a little lipless bait, and I've got there's a little bit of scattered grass. You might see some of it floating. This bay doesn't have a lot of grass in it, and you can see some of it up through this little cut. Just trying to keep this one up, keep it enough on top of the grass. This lipless bait doesn't have near the wobble as the little crankbait that I was using. And a lot of times when the fish aren't real active, a tighter wobble will kind of keep. There you go. You ready? Too late. Good, nice.
Or he won.
That's what you call eat it. That's when you know right bait.
Yeah.
We have to be impressed with Takahiro Omori here. Here's a guy who's so into bass fishing that he left his country really not knowing the language, not knowing anyone over here to pursue this career. And, well, he, like everyone else in this top 10, thinks he is onto something.
Okay, and I also fish those hydro here. This is the area, the kind of staging area. Fish come from main lake to spawn the Moonshining Bay. This is the ditch go all the way to the Moonshining Bay to fish spawn. I think last 2 days gets cold weather. Fish just staging right here. I'm fishing, heavy vegetation stuff. Just go underneath it, just hide it until the weather become good. Just I fishing, like 1 ounce thicker with a small crow worm. Just punch through those vegetation. Just jigging up and down to fish real slow to get bites. Like only 5-6 keeper bite a day, but those are like a good female. The staging right here, I think. So hopefully get 5 today.
There you go. Get in here.
All right.
I didn't have no choice about that.
That was quick.
Leave it close. You blink around here and you'll miss one. Look how fat that fish is. It takes forever to get a bite, but when you get one in here, it's worth it.
Listen. Steve Daniels and Jeff Korecker are making their way through the grass and the cover on the south end of the lake here.
Tommy, he's fishing in an area where, believe it or not, they dynamited some time ago, and I don't think Steve's been there a lot, but he came across this place just recently, and of course the dynamite created a lot of big holes, a lot of drop-offs for these fishing. So he's got a little bit more depth than the norm for this lake. Fishing a lipless crankbait, I'll bet you anything he's fishing a jerkbait a little bit too. Steve is so versatile, isn't he, man? He is one of the more versatile fishermen that we've run into.
There he is. Stay down, big boy. Stay down. Stay down. Stay down. Here he comes. Here he comes. Ready? There we go.
Well, up until this point, Dion probably wanted to leave this area, but maybe he'll stay a bit longer now. That could be good or that could be bad. These decisions, that's the hard part.
Well, we're on the board, sports fans. Isn't that patience we were talking about? I was about to run out. There's one.
Get the net. Net, please.
All right, well, everybody on the verge of leaving starts scoring, Jerry.
Hey, you know what? The biggest decision these guys have got to make on a daily basis is whether to stay or go.
Well, maybe we won't leave here. Thank you. Okay. This place is full of bass. You know, they just have to bite a little bit. Good job. That's what I hate about dip net.
I have no earthly idea how good he's got it. He hit right at the boat. I do know it's a bass, though. Oh. Thank you, buddy.
Yes, sir.
Man. Look at that. Look at that. Look. That'd be called barely hooked.
Well, it looks like Stephen Browning has taken to this Florida bass fishing more and more after all, and it would be great to have this young man in our final five again. He's working hard at it, too.
You betcha.
I learned from the guy. I mean, I learned from any fisherman. I respect any fisherman in the United States. I learned from everybody since I started fishing in the United States. Because we don't have this kind of water in Japan.
The year 2000 edition of the Walmart FLW Tour, and we're cranking it up where we cranked it up the very first time here on Lake Okeechobee, right outside of Clewiston. This is Coot Bay here. Clewiston, I guess, Jerry, been known for a long time. Folks from up north come down here to really enjoy this good fishing.
This is big bass country here.
During the winter months, and a guy who's taught a lot of those northerners how to fish, and lots of other folks as well, is Steve Daniel. And Steve, tell us the lesson you're learning today.
Well, it's been slow this morning so far. We've had a kind of a cloudy morning, and I've been catching the majority of my fish on jerkbait, and we need a little bit of sunlight, but I've got one about 2.5 pounds, and I was thinking about leaving this area for a little bit, but the sun's fixing to come back out, and I think that's all it's going to take. If I can just get 5 bites in this one area here, they'll weigh 11, 12, 13 pounds, and that's going to be enough to advance tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, you know, Steve is one of our champions for catching fish while on the telephone with us. You know, I don't want to put any pressure on him.
That's right. He seems to catch one every time we give him a call.
Steve, I would like to ask you something. Normally, November and December would be kind of considered your off months, and then a professional fisherman really start kicking it back in after the holidays. What do you do in the off season, and then what might you do to start preparing yourself to pick it up again?
Well, I still guide a lot on the lake, and that's a real busy time, starting about Thanksgiving. There's a lot of people come down from the north, and usually November and December are real good months because we're not getting a lot of cold fronts yet, and fish are still schooling up. You still have some spawning fish. They usually start spawning about November, but you also have fish that are still schooling on a summertime pattern. We actually only have 2 patterns here. We have a summer pattern and a winter pattern, and sometimes we have that going on at the same time. So, you know, it's just really how you like to fish. I prefer the summer patterns. I prefer schooling fish and running around looking for big schools. And
don't you have to do some things to kind of keep in shape and keep your hand-eye shined up and so on?
I think we all fish enough, and I've kind of backed off. This year I've actually started in my practice doing things a lot different than I have in the past. I've tried not to practice as much, and I'm trying not to practice the last day before the tournament starts, and that's really helped me. I'm having one of the best years of my whole career right now. And I think that's the simple fact that I'm not working as hard during practice, and I'm not wearing myself out. I spend the day before the tournament working on my tackle and just piddling and sitting back and thinking about what I'm going to do. And then I'm more fired up when I get ready to go fish, and it's not like I'm all worn out. And so many guys
You're talking about actual physical fatigue. A lot of guys wear themselves out physically even before a tournament starts.
Sure they do, and the older I get, the more I have to relax a little bit. So it's really helped me a lot, and I know that Rick Clunn's been doing that a lot, and he's the one that's got me thinking about that. And I think it means a lot to be mentally prepared, and And really, not knowing so much is a good thing. Yeah, I came in this area yesterday, and I've only been in this area maybe 1 or 2 times in my whole life, and it's here close to Clewiston, but I've been looking for clean water, and this particular area has got clean water in it, but I had to actually fish this area a lot yesterday just to learn a little bit about what's going on, and that's why I kind of got excited. The first day I didn't catch that many, I only caught 4, but and I didn't come in here, but I had this in the back of my mind the whole time, and yesterday I slid in here about this time of day and started throwing one of my favorite baits, the number 14 Husky Jerk, and I was really just looking for some schooling fish down here, and boy, they started biting that thing, and I probably caught a dozen down here, and all over 2.5, 3-pounders, and just had a blast. And it was all because I didn't know that much about the area, and I think that just the excitement. Sometimes if you know you're going to an area and you know you're not going to get many bites, you don't fish it as thoroughly, and you're not excited about it. And I think that's a big part of tournament fishing.
Yeah, and sometimes you're not open-minded enough, are you?
That's right. I mean, not knowing is a big deal, and they change from day to day. And like I say, sometimes if you think you know all there is to know about what those fish are doing, you tend to omit something. I've been thinking about that this morning because when I hit my jerkbait, and these fish are in here, and they're catchable on something. And I'm just going to have to play around with this area here, and I'll figure something out. And it may not be what I caught them on yesterday, but we're gonna stay a while in this area right here. It's got some potential.
That's not the same jerkbait you used on Lake Lanier last year. You retired that one, right?
This is exactly the same bait. I like to have $1 for every bass I've caught on this thing.
Jeff, you got one of those? Are you going to give one of those a spin?
Yes, sir. Actually, this is my first FLW tournament.
Your first FLW?
Wow.
Yes,
well, you're
sir.
cashing in quick. Tell us about your whole week.
It's been a little slow. The fishing's been a little slow. I was fortunate on the first day of the tournament to draw out with Mr. Denny Breyer, and we're able to catch a few fish flipping, and I actually missed a real good fish that first day. And then yesterday, had one bite, was all I had, about 2 o'clock yesterday, and was able to put it in the boat. Excuse me, I got to go to work.
I know it's a lot of excitement, especially for a co-angler, to be fishing on this day or any day of the tournament, but how do you keep from getting too pumped up and knowing that you've got to pay attention to what, because you're getting a rare privilege to fish behind a Denny Brower and now a Steve Daniel, to pay attention and to really mentally note as many things as you can. Things are going to help you catch more fish in the future.
Well, actually, I sort of have to block these guys out, knowing that they're in a league by themselves, and try not to watch what they're doing, because I know I can't imitate that, and just sort of try to
Do what you do.
Yes, sir.
Do what you do. Well, who knows, it might be successful. Guys, we appreciate it, and we'll see you back at weigh-in.
Hey, don't go away now. Stay on the phone. I just caught one.
Okay.
All right.
See, it works. It would be unfair if we stayed on the phone any longer, because we're going to give you an advantage over these other fishermen here.
Hey, I'll cook you some more barbecue tonight. If you just
Oh, man, well, I'm in for that.
Okay.
I'm in for that.
He's a barbecue artist, maybe as good as he is a fisherman.
But I should say, and have we ever had a phone call with Steve Daniels that wasn't enlightening and really his guy in the back of the boat has got a real lesson today, doesn't he?
Absolutely. You know, a lot of our anglers, especially the guys who are on some home waters, tell us, I've got an information overload here. I know too much. I know too many places. That hinders me. Steve maybe and Rick Clunny mentioned may have figured out a new way to combat that. Just stay away from it on the day before the tournament, or 2 days before the tournament.
Rest mentally.
Rest mentally, clear everything out of your mind. Maybe that's the key. We'll find out. Walmart FLW Tour is brought to you by Ranger Boats, still building legends, one at a time. By B.F. Goodrich, take control. By Black & Decker, proud sponsor of the Walmart FLW Tour. And by Coca-Cola Company, always Coca-Cola.
Tommy, how about a quick recap here? A recap for, so far, a pretty slow day. Steve Daniels got a couple of fish, one pretty good one, too. Marty Stone, he's on his way to a limit, but he needs, I think he needs a little bit bigger fish. Stephen Browning and Deion Hibden have boated a couple of fish apiece, and Takahiro Omori has yet to score. Now, I want everyone to remember that we're going to cut the field to 5 pros for the finals tomorrow. So these guys that we're covering, they don't have to win today. All they have to do is get to that final 5.
And again, you're right, Jerry. We're only with 5 of these guys now. Also in the top 10 out there fishing is Jeff Sims, who's a pro from just down the road in Punta Gorda, Florida. His amateur partner, Jim Vogel, saying Craig Powers, who had a great finish to last year in Memphis, is fishing a guy named Ron Otta, a veteran co-angler. Clark Winlet, who was our angler of the year the first year of the Walmart FLW Tour, fishing with William Brown. Alvin Shaw, who finished up well at the championship last year, out there fishing with David Hudson. Jerry Ryan, a veteran bass angler, he's fishing with Quint Bourgeois.
And we are back to the real thing again now. Marty Stone is still down there around Rita Island.
Boy, he ate my lunch. I thought I had a 10-pounder. Thank you, Lord. Son, I don't know if I can catch a 10-pounder in here. I think he pulled me in. White belly.
We got sun and nice weather today, warmer temperatures, but it doesn't seem to be helping everyone out like we thought it would.
And you know what? I think the weather fronts bother these Florida fish more than they do any fish that these guys fish for all year long.
Stay down. He's coming by the boat 900 miles an hour. I think I've got a big one on. Get him, baby. Get him. Yes! Yes, yes, yes! Attaboy.
All right, Marty.
Good job. Look at this. Son, tell me he didn't want that thing.
Well, Jerry, we've known for a long time that bass fishing really is an international sport. We've had a hard time putting this across on our tournament series, but now we have...
we finally got him with us.
A good representative from across the Pacific, Takahiro Omori, originally from Tokyo, now lives in the Lake Fork area near Dallas, Texas. And Takahiro, when did you start bass fishing seriously?
Well, I would start bass fishing when I was junior high school, when I was in Japan.
And how long ago was that?
Well, since then I've been keep fishing. I started bass tournament in Japan. I was 15 years old.
Well, how long have you been here in the United States?
Well, this is the 9th year.
9th year
in the United States.
What? We're both so anxious to talk to
we want to learn a lot more about it.
You know, I think what I want to know, and I think so many of our television viewers would want to know, what was the toughest thing for you coming from Japan over to our country and tackling this career?
I think speak the English, the language, because the first time I came to the United States, I know nobody and I cannot speak any English, and of course different culture and everything different.
Were you all by yourself when you came over here, Takahiro?
Yes.
All by yourself.
How long did you plan on staying?
Well, I got green card 2 years ago, so I want to keep fishing as long as I can in the United States.
That's just
incredible. What did you have for supper last night?
Well, I went to the Chinese restaurant last night.
Yeah, but do you get to eat a lot of your food from home over here? Can you find it in all the weird sort of backroads places we go sometimes to fish?
Yeah, but I can eat all the hamburger and steak because that's one of my favorite foods too. But I want to eat sushi sometimes if I can.
Yeah, well, us too. Hey, let me ask you, what's the state of bass fishing in Japan now? Is it getting more popular?
Yes, bass fishing gets popular every year in Japan. Now, fishing industry in Japan grow every year. So,
do you have lots of places to bass fish over there?
Well, yeah, small ponds, rivers, because we live in a small island. So we don't have enough big lake like Lake Okeechobee.
Well, tell us something about what your key to success this week. What's really gotten you all those good catches that you've had?
Well, I think the cold front push fish underneath the heavy vegetation. I flip it to the heavy vegetation using a 1-ounce sinker with a 3-inch fire claw. It's a little bit claw that the other fish just hide it underneath the heavy vegetation stuff because the cold front.
There he is. Oh, dang, come on. No, he's coming, he's coming. He just run at me. Ready? Here he comes. Oh, got him? Get him in there. Woo. Pitch up the buoy. Where's the buoy? Where's the buoy? Chunk it up backside of the boat out here. Let's kind of pull back this way a little bit off of it.
Dion Hibden with a much-needed keeper there. He and Bud Gokey still in that same place.
Yeah, and I tell you what, Tommy, I talked about this earlier. I bet there's a big school of fish out there that are just moving around in that grass, and he's just working hard to try to hit that right spot.
Well, that would explain why he picked up and tossed that buoy out there, I guess.
I'd like to ask Takahiro one more question. I know you're, obviously with this career, you do a lot of traveling. Tell us the place you like to eat the best, a U.S. place.
Well, you mean that like a Japanese restaurant? Yeah. Well,
What American restaurant do you like to eat at?
well, I like to go there like a Shawnee's. Or, yeah, just to go to McDonald's for the fast food. But I go to Chinese restaurant, I guess, most of the time.
Okay, all right.
Hey, good luck, guys. JD made a good point there. You know, all these guys say, we hear at every tournament, I'm learning how not to fish so fast. And not just at places where the water's cold, at warm water places, too. It's not a cold-related thing, is it, fishing too fast?
You know, a lot of our good anglers, if they were asked a piece of advice from another fisherman, without even knowing what he does, the first thing they would say would be to slow down a little bit. Most of the time, slowing down will make a big improvement in your fishing.
The Walmart FLW Tour, first event of the year here on Lake Okeechobee, and our anglers are finding the going a bit tough today. They probably feel it's that way for every other boat, so you hang in there. Every bite is important.
Fish. Oh. They can't move. Yeah, yes, please. He's still there. But he can't get off anyway. Sometimes 3 pounder, sometimes just 12-inch fish, but don't put it too hard because it broke my line sometimes. Yeah. All right. All right. Man. See, this is the kind of bite I could get. But only 4 or 5 bites a day. But giant. And keep it. All right. Finally. All right. How many times I flipped this stuff right here? 5, 6 times. Finally he ate it. Another one. All right. Oh. Oh, forget. Oh, I got nets right here. See, I had no bite 4 hours. Boom, 5 hours. And now I got 7 pounds. But it's 2 fish. All right. I'm excited. This kind of fishing, you gotta be excited.
Stephen Browning from Hot Springs, Arkansas. I think I heard this right. He told us maybe he hadn't caught 10 pounds of fish in 3 different tournaments here in Florida. But, man, this week's been a breakthrough, Steve.
Well, I had a good break the first day. I had 15 pounds, and that, you know, that's, to me, for me, catching 15 pounds, that's a tremendous day. And, you know, to be honest with you, I just kind of totally abandoned that area. I didn't have a good day in there yesterday, and my confidence kind of went down, so I've decided to stay here on the big lake today and just kind of run around and just go fishing.
Where are you headed to now?
Well, I'm headed up around Kramer Island. I'm going to fish some pockets there. I've just came from down on the south end, kind of about a couple of miles from the landing, and I've been throwing the lipless crankbait, and I've got 3 fish, which really is the best start I've had all week at this time.
Well, Steve, I've actually heard you myself talk about the fact that you never do any good when you get down there. Does that start becoming a mental problem with you?
It really does, and you know, like I said, after the first day I was excited and pumped up, and I mean, I really thought I was going to do well in this tournament, and anytime that your mind starts thinking negative, you're usually not going to do negative, but my mind's been on a positive attitude all week, and it's showing.
Breakthrough down here in Florida.
Boy, he does have a different attitude, though, doesn't he? He does. He really, it's helping him out a lot. And we're back over to Steve Daniels. You know what, Tommy? Kind of hope, not pulling for anyone special, but I sure hope Steve Daniel makes it till the finals where he can give us a real lesson on how he fishes that jerkbait. He is the best at it, and it really works well for him here in Florida.
He's right where he's supposed to be, too. I haven't caught one there yet. Oh, goodness. Every time I've caught one, he's in a place I didn't get a bite yet. Let's see if we get a net under this one. He don't look like he's hooked too good. He's not hooked very good. He's in the net now. All right, thanks. Let me get the boat back off. Throw right there in that cut.
But I tell you what, Tommy, he may not make the finals, so I better tell you right now that he's using a Tennessee shad husky jerk. He lets it sink at about 5 foot of depth. And then, if you can imagine this now, he kind of walks it under the water about like a Zare spook. That's the way he explains it, and I think that's a great explanation. He's using a long rod and probably 10 or 12 pound test line today.
Come up and roll, I thought it was a whole lot more fish than that.
It's the Walmart FLW Tour, first stop of the year down here in South Florida on Lake Okeechobee. We got 10 boats out there, each with a pro angler trying to catch enough pounds of bass to make it to the finals. Also a co-angler in each boat, and this is their big day. Today is the day we crown our co-angler champion. We're going to go out to the lake right now, and Steve Daniel, who may or may not have enough pounds to get in the final, but he's taking some time to help his co-angler.
He was back in that trail, wasn't he?
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
You're just good. I threw back in there about 5 times.
Need a net, partner. God dang, get him in there. That's what you call a little last-minute deal there. Man. That one helps. Big time. A little bitty hole in the net. I don't think one's going to fall through it tomorrow.
It's a pretty good fish. I got him out of there, believe it or not. Man, I love it when they listen.
Man, oh man, it looks like everyone's making good use of their last moments today. I mean, these fish are being caught when actually these guys ought to be thinking about heading in. I guess they got plenty of time yet, but...
Man told me he'd get another one right there.
Won't be long.
He's got a big old gizzard shad stuck in his throat. That's not roe right there. That's just pure old meat right there. They got tail sticking out there.
Mm-hmm. Two biggest fish.
A little bit of time left out there, and I tell you what amazes you about these guys is they know exactly how long, down to the second, it's going to take them to get back to the weigh-in. They don't waste any time. They don't waste a single cast.
Yeah.
Stay down. Mm-hmm. Oh, thank you, Lord. Look what my partner did. Here's my bait. There's the fish. My net man. Big Red. Give it up, Big Red. Thank you, Lord. That ought to do it right there. That's 5. I'm done.
Marty Stone is done for today. His area near Rita Island there certainly came alive for him. Takahiro Omori here, well, he wishes he had about 4 more hours, that's for sure. Same story for this man right here, Dion Hibden. The fact of the matter is we don't have any more time. It's time to crank it up and head on back. They're about to crank up the weigh-in back here in Clewiston, Florida. And before you know it, we will have our co-angler winner and the 5 who will fish for the championship. Don't go away. The Walmart FLW Tour is brought to you by Kellogg's, the best to you each morning. By Land O'Lakes, supporting family traditions. By Poulan, the name means quality. And by U.S. Bank, your needs, our tools.
And our Fuji flashback is all about Steve Daniels catching yet another fish while we're communicating with him out on the water. Hey, we need a weigh-in to wrap this up, and actually we already have this to report. Robert Vogelsang with 10 pounds 4 ounces is our co-angler champion and winner of $15,000. And our final 5 pros for their championship, Steve Daniels, Steve Browning, Jeff Sims, Craig Powers, and Marty Stone. And who's the best amongst that group?
It might be Jeff Sims from Punta Gorda, Florida.
Everybody we talk to who really knows fishing on Okeechobee and around Clewiston says, man, it's going to be hard to beat this guy.
Well, I don't know about that, but fishing is tough. I mean, water temperature's cold, and everybody's pretty much at an even keel right now.
Or in the Goodrich boat, it could be Stephen Browning from Hot Springs, Arkansas.
You know, I had a real tough day in there yesterday. I only had 2 fish, and, you know, luckily those 2 got me in. But I just kind of went fishing today. I had Bob Sanders, my roommate, and Joel Richardson, a good friend of mine. They kind of got me in some areas that had some fish, and I just went to work today.
Or maybe the guy sitting in the Land O'Lakes boat, Craig Powers from Rockwood, Tennessee.
Well, I can't complain. You know, I've been real fortunate just to be where I'm at, and been lucky along the way. Had a few breaks here and there, and you know, 2 years ago I was sitting out in the crowd, you know, and just happened to be in the right place at the right time. A few good things happened to me, and now I'm in look here.
For the man sitting over in the pulling boat, Steve Daniel from Clewiston, Florida.
This was kind of a new area to me, so I started really just working around, and I learned a lot about the area that day, and I started catching some pretty good fish. And today I learned a little bit more about it, and it's been everywhere I caught one yesterday. I didn't catch any today, but I caught some more in there in different places, so I'm still learning about the area now. But, you know, they're either going to bite it or not. I'm going back tomorrow, and, you know, if I can catch 5 like that, maybe get a big one, it's going to be good.
Oh, it may be the Kellogg's boatman from Marty Stone from Fayetteville, North Carolina.
I worked harder today to catch them than I did, and I just got fortunate and got that big bite. I'm in such a real small area, and you know, I went through 2 hours today and never had a bite. And it's tough, it's slow. I don't know. I thought I figured something out yesterday, and they changed completely.
This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com.